Welcome, Mark, to this interview.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, Mark, in this weird and wonderful world we live in, where did Mark Shay first saw the light of day?
As in being born, or
Being born?
in the Orange County, just outside of Los Angeles, in California, and that's where I was born. And when I was younger, my parents moved to New Zealand, and I did a lot of growing up there. And then when I was 13, my parents decided to change and come over to Australia, and that's how I got here, and I've been here ever since.
And before we go on, Mark, what were your early influences in music?
Well, actually, the early stuff is, things like Michael Jackson and all them. Like, I grew up, my parents played Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers, all that sort of stuff. With the country stuff, I got into, I like Michael Jackson and all that, and of course trying to find my own musical identity. I got into when I hit my teens, I got into the more heavier stuff, and I started going to Bon Jovi, and then that led into Skid Row, and and I've just really eclectic, it's like I'm really wide around. And the way I ended up in the country again was actually through line dancing. I started line dancing, and there was a song and there was a dance I really liked, and the song for it was Who Wouldn't Want to Be Me. I'd never heard of Keith Urban, and I was like, who sings this song? And so we said, oh, Keith Urban, blah, blah, blah. And so I started looking into more of what he did, and that's how I got back into the country scene.
Okay, but getting back to the early years,
yeah.
I believe at a very early age you learned to play the piano.
Yeah, well, my father played in that, and I was classically trained when I was younger. And of course I always wanted to play guitar, but I was forced to play piano, so that's how I learned a lot of music. How to read music and all that sort of stuff. And when I finally got a guitar, I sort of left the piano behind, and I taught myself how to play guitar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, well, I actually took 3 guitar lessons, and I had been teaching myself how to play. And when I had to teach the guitar teacher how to read the guitar music, I thought, well, I can do this on my own.
Well, I guess about that stage, aren't I? And you weren't quite 12 when you learned to play the guitar.
No, I was just before we came to Australia. I was around 11 or 12.
Yep.
And I finally got my first guitar, and that's where I started to just pick it up and all that. And of course it wasn't until when I started getting into the rock side of things that the guitar playing was a big factor, and I had to learn more technical stuff, because rock was all about the guitars,
And I believe that you started actually teaching other people to play guitar.
Yeah, well, like I said, when I had to teach my guitar teacher how to read the music so he could teach me, I figured, okay, and people were asking me what to do, and asking me for advice, so I actually started teaching them what I was learning. And by the time I was 17, I was actually I was teaching kids how to play guitar and all that sort of stuff, and I actually became a music teacher. I actually had people leaving other guitar teachers to come and learn from me. I had a pretty successful guitar tuition business.
And I believe by the age of 14 you were playing in pubs and clubs around Sydney.
Yeah, well, I was about that age. I was good enough to sort of play, because I not only taught myself guitar, but I taught myself bass and other instruments like that. And I've always been a lot bigger than the other kids growing up, and so I looked a lot older. And
hence the reason you got into pubs and clubs.
Yes, they didn't. Well, karting wasn't a big thing back then. And especially being part of the band, they don't tend to, are you old enough to be in here? So, I started playing with local bands and that, and I've played everything from 50s, 60s covers bands, you know, like I'd play bass or guitar for them and that, right up to original heavy metal stuff as well. And yeah, because it was a different time back then, and I was going, you know, a 14-year-old going into the King's Cross to go see the local heavy metal bands and all that sort of stuff.
Not to mention all the lights.
Yeah.
Yes. How many songs have you written, and what was your first song that you ever written?
The first song I ever written was on piano, and it was called Runaway. And I was really proud of that because I actually that was my first original composition. And as far as how many songs I've written, you know, we're talking thousands upon thousands. You know, and I've always been a believer in quality. And if something sounds similar to somebody, I scrap it. You know, because like, there is accidental rip-offs. You know, like when I was in, I had an original heavy metal band, and we were rocking it up, and we had a song. And a couple of years later, I heard Skid Row playing the exact same riff to my song.
That's
now, serious, and it's on their third album. It's exactly the same riff, and there's no way they could have heard my song, you know. And accidents happen. So, but if something sounds similar, as soon as I find out, I tend to scrap it. Also, depending on quality, and it's like this. I'm working on new songs now for a new recording, and hearing the quality that's coming out now, I decide, even though I had some great songs lined up, it's like, no, I'm going to move them aside, and I'm going to start again. And it's just about being very objective on yourself and making sure that, you know, you really get it right.
Now, I also read, and this might be fact or fact, I don't know, that you actually developed your the voice, the singing, through karaoke.
Yeah, actually. Well, when I was younger, it was pretty much, I became a singer because we didn't have one.
Oh, okay.
You know, the band didn't have a singer, and so I sort of stepped in, and then we did get a singer, and he got a girlfriend, and all of a sudden we missed an opportunity to actually go to America because of his girlfriend, and so we got rid of him, and I got back into singing. And then thanks to karaoke, I got into karaoke just because, you know, just going out and having a few drinks and singing. And you know, then I got into working for karaoke, and I was actually hosting it and things like that. And singing all those nights and that actually helped develop my voice. And when I go back and listen to the early stuff with the old band, I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't believe how bad the singing was. It was just, my voice was absolute garbage back then. And you know, and again, it comes down to, you know, I've got really high standards, and it's like the pinnacle for me is my idol Sebastian Bach from Skid Row. His voice is absolutely amazing, and if I could get my voice half as great as his, it would be fantastic. But I still don't think that I've got as good a voice as I want it to be. So I'm actually hard on myself on that. But people seem to like what I do, so I guess I can sing. And a lot of that comes from doing many nights of karaoke, and with karaoke you get a wide range of songs as well. You know, it's like when I'm playing my shows, most people that come to my shows want to hear country. Where at a karaoke you can sing pop, you can sing top 40, you can sing R&B, you can rap, you can sing country, you can do any of that, and it gives your voice a really good coverage of different styles.
And you have been to Tamworth.
Yes.
And what other festivals in Australia that you've been to?
I've been to a few. As far as attending, I've been to more. Yeah, I've been to a lot more. I'd love to play things like Gympie and that.
One day.
Yeah, but you know, South Coast Country Music, you know, South Coast Country Music Association's festival, because I was based out of Wollongong for a long time there. So you tend to try and start where you're based. But I've done festivals. I have played the Talent Quest up at Gympie. I've done Canberra Country Music Festival. Tamworth's the real big one, but I've done a lot of smaller ones and more things like youth shows, and I've done BNS balls and things like that as well.
So you say Canberra, what about Bungendore?
I haven't actually got to Bungendore. Usually because Tamworth has been, you know, it's only like a week after Tamworth, and I haven't really had a chance to. And then when I looked into it, Bungendore seems to be a lot more for the bush balladeers. Oh, yeah. You know, it seems to be more the more traditional country, and although I'm a novelty in that scene sometimes, you know, yeah, I'm not. You know, I don't think I fit in well there. I'd love to go if they want me down there. I'd go, but I think that's probably why I haven't got in there. So.
I'll have to ask you this because I appear in this particular film clip.
Yeah. Smile. Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, I actually, what, the song or the video?
Both.
Both? Okay. Well, the song's just another song that's come about. You know, as songs do, and it was supposed to be a bigger song, and I didn't have the resources to record the full band. I wanted this song on the album, so I actually thought, oh, I'm going to do it acoustic. It's nice as acoustic. I'll just keep it acoustic. So we quickly recorded that, and when the album came out, the album was selling really well, but Smile was right down at the bottom. And I didn't have the money to make a video clip for it and that. And I just, you know, I was seeing all these fans posting photos of themselves with great big smiles, and I thought that'd be a really good idea for a video. And so, yeah, I put the word out and said, look, send me your photos of you guys smiling. You know, the song's called Smile, and I'll put it all together as a video. Well, I got so many photos. Right, I got so many photos, and I was like, I put together the video, and I had all these photos left over by the end of the song. It's just a photo, you know, snapshot, slideshow, you could say, of, you know, for the song. And I had so many photos, I had to actually thought, well, I can't leave these people out. You know, everybody sent in. So the video is the song twice.
Yep.
And so I could fit in all the photos, because I had such a great response from all the fans sending in photos.
Have you performed overseas yet?
I had, well, besides from when I performed in New Zealand before I came here. No, I've pretty much come to Australia and I've stayed here. I haven't left Australia since I've got here.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. So I haven't actually had a chance to go back to the States and visit family and that. Just the way things have happen, you know, just, oh yeah, I'll go over next year, and you know, something comes up, and so I've got a lot of people wanting me to go overseas. Yep. I got some people wanting me to go back to New Zealand and perform. I got people wanting for the States, because the majority of my fans are actually overseas. You know, like I've got people screaming for me to go over and play in America. Canada has been really receptive as well.
Okay.
And I've even, yeah, I haven't had people asking me over there, but I know that some of my biggest fans are in India.
Dead set.
Yep. With the YouTube page, the third highest, after Australia and America, the third highest country that views my videos is India. Wow. Which is, I found it really unusual, and it's just like, I would not have thought India. But it's great, you know, and you know, like I've been received so well all around the world, you know, even in Europe and the UK and that. So the plan is to get over there as well, but it just organising stuff to get over there takes time, and then something might pop up. And
what other instruments do you play besides the guitar and piano?
Well, I play piano, guitar, drums, bass. I used to play cello, and I used to fiddle with the fiddle and the violin. You know, it's been a long time since I've played one properly. You know, keyboards, of course, are different to piano because you know you got a whole different range of sounds you can use as well. I pretty much if it's got strings, I'll have a go at it. So yeah, I played banjo, not very well, but well, now that I got the banjo, you can cheat. So you just play the guitar stuff and sound like a banjo. But yeah, so if it's got strings, I'll play it, and different sorts of little percussions and that I'll fiddle with too.
And what is Mark Shay doing for the rest of the year? Anything coming up?
I've applied for a few festivals that I'm waiting to hear back for. So fingers crossed for Denny, because a lot of my fans are in the youth scene, and they've been screaming for me. You got to play Denny. You got to play Denny. It's like, well, I've applied, so let them know you want me there. And yeah, it's basically a lot of it's unconfirmed yet, so I'm waiting to hear back. But I don't play very often as well, which is sort of I don't saturate it. You know, like I'd like to play more, but on the other hand, I like to sit back a bit because then people don't, you know, it doesn't get saturated, and I always get more people, and people come further to see me because they know I'm not going to be playing too soon after that.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, because like I've done the residency sort of thing where you play one spot over and over and over again, and people come and see ya, but then it's like, oh, he'll be there next week. He'll be there next week, and numbers dwindle, and then the venues are like, oh, you know, but you know, so when I am playing somewhere, you know, I have fantastic fans, and they travel. Like I've got one fan who's travelled all the way down to Canberra from the Central Coast, travelled all the way to Tamworth just to see me, travelled all the way up to Coffs Harbour to see me, you know, and it's just so great. I've got such dedicated and amazing fans. It just really makes me feel so good.
Well, that's what an artist needs to succeed.
Yeah, well, that's right, and it's about the fans for me, you know, because without the fans, I'm just sitting there at home playing guitar to myself, and it is, you know, and that's what a lot of people tend to forget. It really is about the fans, you know. It's so great that so many people relate to my music, and yeah, they've been so supportive, and some of the things that they've done has just been really, like, wow. Like I said, like I've had one fan travel all up and down the coast just to see me, you know, and it's like, even at, like I had a little acoustic gig up in, where was it? Up near Maxville, and she drove all the way out there just to see, you know, see me play a little acoustic gig.
That's it.
Yeah. And she's not the only one, and it's just, I'm glad that I make people happy in that sense, you know, and they enjoy my music, and then they want to see me live, and they want to support me so I can keep doing it. And yeah, whenever I'm performing and that, I'm thinking of the fans, because they're the ones that are letting me do what I do.
That's right, yeah. Now, in Tamworth, which is the heart of country music, next year we're going to see more of you in Tamworth?
Well, I'm trying to arrange a few things. You know, Tamworth's a really funny animal at the moment. It is, you know, it's like, and after the last few years where they've, you know, trying new things, and the fans haven't really been receptive to it, and it's, you know, this year they got it right. Like, you know, it was probably quieter than I've seen since I've started going to Tamworth, but it was a fantastic festival. They actually got it right, and everybody seemed to have fun, and it was about the music. It was about getting there, enjoying it, and enjoying the music. And you got the people there trying to make money, you know, and it's like, okay, the locals make money because that's their festival, you know, that's why things are up. And you got the artists going there thinking they're going to make a mint, and people are already spending all their money just to get there. And so a lot of the free shows were great. And so that's where it's a really hard thing to organise things like that, because you know, if I have a full band show, well, I've got to pay my musos. You know, I've got to pay the guys that play for me and all that. So it does cost money, and so where am I going to get that money from?
True.
So I do tend to go and do a lot of the free stages and that, because again, getting back to the fans, you know, they've already spent a hell of a lot of money on accommodation, and they got to pay for food and all that. So I'll sacrifice a bit of my show, you know, like I'd love to go there and do the full band show and just rock up the place. But I want to make sure my fans get to see me.
So have you ever been invited as a guest artist?
Yeah, I have. Like I played Fan Zone this year, and then it sort of became, if they were stuck, they got me up on stage a couple times unscheduled. You know, it's like, oh, did you bring your guitar? Like one time, Melissa Robinson was playing on stage and she was finishing up, and Ray McCoy comes up to me and goes, did you bring your guitar? I'm like, no, I'm walking the street. And he goes, I said, oh, maybe Melissa will let me use a guitar. So he's like, okay, jump up on stage. And so me and Melissa rocked out with a few numbers just to fill in some time, you know. But all that sort of stuff is great. And I always try and help out the younger ones, you know, and try, you know, like I'll keep my ear out where there's walk-up stages and that, and if I can guide them there to give them so they can get up and play. It's all about getting up there and playing and just enjoying the music.